Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer. Well, we're getting a little bit of rain today, thank goodness, here in the nation's capital. I don't know how things are going. Well, some of you all have had too much rain. I just was with a buddy from Houston, Texas, and those floods down there cut the electricity out. It's been pretty rough. But over here on the East Coast, we've been looking for rain, so we got some today. And so we do a little rain dance here on Let's Talk and have some great conversations with our guests who are here, who are kind of in the business of empowering young people. We're going to have an organization who really works with STEAM, science, technology, arts, and math, to talk about what they're doing to kind of grow, empower young folks in those areas, which of course are growing all across the country. So we're looking forward to our conversation with them, as well as meeting with the hosts of an upcoming Wealth Summit who are empowering our community by enhancing financial literacy. We're going to have a sponsor segment. You'll meet Lamont Brown, Mr. Image Music, CEO, Executive Director of the Swaliga Foundation, who's here to invite you to the Swaliga Foundation Steam the Block party that will be taking place. We're going to get some details about that, where, when, how, who, what, and hopefully excite you enough to join them as we have joined them in a partnership. We meaning the Washington Informer. So looking forward to talking to Mr. Brown, as well as Grammy Award winning musician Keith Harris, who's going to speak with our Washington Informer fellow Jada Ingleton to discuss his journey and upcoming performance right here in the nation's capital at the Anthem with Black Eyed Peas. So we're looking forward to that conversation. And finally, Tony Parker and Raven Paris are founders of the Wealth Summit. And they're here to talk about the upcoming financial literacy event they're hosting at the Baltimore Peninsula next week. So before we jump into our conversations, please make sure you picked up a copy of the most recent issue of the Washington Informer. I've got that for you. I always like to show you the print edition. And great stories in there, cover stories by Sam P.K. Collins, who's bringing up the debate about I-83. The petitions were turned in, and so there's a lot of conversation. If you don't know what I-83 is, because I believe that will be on the ballot in November. It's a new initiative that impacts voting in the nation's capital. So you want to read this week's Informer to find out what Sam wrote about I-83, so that when you get to the ballot box, if it is on the, on the ballot, you'll be informed. That's our job, to inform you. And Ashley Fields, who is also our national and White House correspondent, actually wrote a story about the Biden administration coming to Washington, D.C. to meet with, they're here, but to meet with our mayor, Muriel Bowser, to talk about efforts to curb the impact of natural disasters. And we've been seeing a lot of those around the country. But what will we do if something like that happens here in the nation's capital? So this was a precautionary meeting, and the outcomes are written in the story. And of course, Richard Elliott, our Prince George's County reporter, did a wonderful profile and story on the three young athletes who were tragically killed in Prince George's County. I know they're having a memorial service, I believe, for them at Wise High School this evening. They're champion football players and made their way to national teams. So that's also in this issue of the Washington Informer. So make sure you pick it up, because that was just on the cover. There's some great news on the inside as well. So we want to make sure you get a copy of that. And if you haven't picked up a copy, make sure that you go to our website where you can get the digital edition. That's at washingtoninformer.com. And you can read the digital edition there. You can also subscribe for free. It's free. You can get a subscription to our digital newsletter, the digital edition every week. So go ahead and visit the Washington Informer so you can subscribe, get daily news updates from our exclusive e-newsletter called Win Daily. And while tuning in to the show today, spread the word and share this broadcast on our social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, IG, X, of course, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Nextdoor, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch some of our previous shows. And you want to find us at Washington Informer TV, no spaces, on YouTube, Washington Informer TV. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe. It won't hurt, it'll help. And then you might want to look back at some of those shows and see who we've talked to and to catch up on some of the news that you've missed over the past. Gosh, I keep thinking about it, Chevy. I think we're almost at the 5-year mark or 6 years. I don't know, one of those. 5-year mark. It's amazing. We keep going every Friday. Rain, snow, sleet, or hail, or COVID every Friday from 12 to 1. So this is where you can find us. Hopefully this is where we'll find you, and that you'll join us and share any news ideas or show ideas that you might have. We'd love to hear from you. You can do that by emailing us at news, at washingtoninformer.com. We would love to hear from you, and because we know that there's a lot of positive things going on in our community, and we want to be the one to inform our community about all the wonderful things that you all are doing. So I'm going to take a break here first before we bring on our first guest, and we're going to watch our weekly news broadcast by Curtis Knowles.
This is Win TV News, bringing you the news that matters. Gas and convenience store chain Sheetz is opening a location in Bowie, Maryland on July 11th, the first store in Prince George's County. The store will hold a grand opening at 9 a.m., with prizes including a grand prize of free sheets for a year to one lucky customer in the form of a $2,500 Sheetz gift card. Also, any customer at the Bowie location will get a free coffee or soda all day. Sheetz is also making 2 donations as part of the Bowie opening, $2,500 to the Capital Area Food Bank and $2,500 to the Special Olympics of Maryland. Fresh Farm, which operates 24 farmers markets in the D.C. region, is expanding its healthy food outreach program for grade schoolers to a new partner in Southeast D.C. and the National Children's Center, which is partnered with the corporation for its food and garden education curriculum at its Early Learning and Early Intervention Center. Fresh Farm community food educators will visit the ELC once a month for in-person family educational sessions focused on local food preparation, procurement, consumption, and food storage. Through the D.C. Office of the State of Superintendent of Education, the ELC becomes one of Fresh Farm's Healthy Tot sites. In addition to monthly virtual cooking sessions, there will be bi-weekly virtual office hours with Fresh Farm experts. A black man who has filed an employment discrimination lawsuit against a hotel in Detroit, Michigan, alleging the hotel only offered him a job interview after he changed the name on his resume. Dwight Jackson, who filed the lawsuit against the Shinola Hotel on July 3rd, alleged he was denied the job when he applied as Dwight Jackson, but was later offered an interview when he changed his name to John Jabrowski. The lawsuit alleged that Jackson was denied a job in violation of the Michigan Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act. Jackson's lawyer, John Marco, quoted saying, "To be denied a job in 2024 in your hometown for the color of your skin goes beyond dollars and cents."
Thanks very much, Curtis. Great report, great news. Before we go to our first guest, I want to share with you what's coming up. The Washington Informer Charities every year does an annual African American Heritage Tour. And this will be our 12th year. Actually, we're leaving on July the 20th. It's a one-day short little trip over to, of all places, Georgetown. And if you'd want to join us, we certainly would love to have you. It's limited spaces and you got to sign up soon. But there's a flyer there. We're going to Tudor Place in Georgetown. And, I don't know if you all are like me. I'm in and out of Georgetown. Haven't been as much in recent years as when I was younger. But I've seen this gated community with lots of trees and flowers on the inside. Never knew what it was. It's Tudor Place, a very, very historic site in Georgetown. And we're going to visit there because they have put together a program, a special program that lasts for a couple of months called Ancestral Spaces, People of African Descent at Tudor Place. So we certainly would love for you to join us on this tour. We welcome adults and children. The information here is on the flyer. You can also get information on our website. I would ask you to sign up soon because we are running out of spaces, but we certainly would love to join you. And let me tell you, we meet at the Arc over here in Southeast DC. We start off with breakfast. So you don't have to worry about being out and in the heat, which I did check the weather. It's going to be a little toasty, but maybe not too bad next Saturday on the 20th. And then we also serve lunch, which we will eat lunch at Tudor Place and then return to the Arc later that afternoon. So we hope that you will consider joining us. You'll read about it and see photos and all that on our website once the tour is over. And I certainly don't want you to be the one that says, what is it, FOMO, fear of missing out. I want you to be fearful of missing out on this great tour. So hope to see you then. And thank you very much for considering this. Now, before we go to our next guest, that's Mr. Lamont Brown, CEO and Executive Director of the Swaliga Foundation. Let's take a look at this short video.
Swaliga is a tribal word that means passion. The Swaliga Foundation was founded in 2012 in Washington, D.C. by Lamond Mr. Image Brown. Over the past decade, this nonprofit organization has impacted more than 10,000 youth and families in D.C. and around the world, providing out-of-school time programming, cultural exchange programs, and free community events. Empowering our diverse youth with STEAM skills is not just an educational initiative. It is a strategic imperative. Swaliga Foundation is armed with a groundbreaking solution, STEAM the Block music curriculum. This innovative tool combines the power of music with STEM learning. Music transcends cultural barriers, igniting a passion for science in diverse learners and bridging the achievement gap.
What kind of day you gonna walk into the Smithsonian and see somebody performing hip hop that's also educating you?
It's about unlocking potential, reclaiming global leadership, and fostering a nation of diverse innovators.
I've never heard of anybody like mixing beats while also making an electric car.
Enriching young lives and propelling our nation to the forefront of science and technology. Let's bridge the gap, blaze new trails, and redefine what's possible in STEAM.
Wow, that is so amazing, Lamont. Yeah, Mr. Image. Geez, I mean, I don't even know where to start, but we're going to start in the beginning by welcoming you to the Let's Talk, and also thanking you for allowing us to sponsor this event that's coming up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But tell us a little bit more about the Swaliga Foundation.
Yes, first, thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor. The Swaliga Foundation, I'll tell you just a quick story. So I'm a DC native, born in Washington, DC. I'm a music artist, always had a passion for music, producing, writing. I am the STEAM MC. And I also have a degree in architectural engineering from Drexel University. So that's a much longer story, but the point is, I struggled through engineering school. And when I came back to DC, I got my degree, but I could already see that there was a gap between these math and science skills, especially for youngins that look like me. And I had a life-changing experience that made me want to give back, wanted to support my community in different ways. And I figured this knowledge that I gained in engineering school, I needed to transfer that to these youngins. And what better way to do it through music and the arts? So I created the first ever STEAM hip hop curriculum known as STEAM the Block. We put the A in STEM, and this was over a decade ago. And this has been a calling. I've never planned on starting a nonprofit, never planned on being an educator, but here we are. More than a decade later, we've served over 10,000 youth and families doing after-school programs, doing cultural exchange programs. We're actually taking another group of students to South Africa in a couple of weeks, and then free community events like the STEAM the Block party that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But yeah, I'm all in, right? Like this is a very important work that we're doing. I'm very serious about it. And I'm very honored to be able to share my gifts and talents.
So let me ask you, because I'm going to go back a little bit. You know, you're a young man, but when you were a much, much younger man, what came first? Was it your passion for science, or was it your passion for music?
Oh, music, no
Did
question.
they music?
Yeah, music, no question. Yeah, I wrote my first song when I was 6 years old. It's more like a poem, but I called it a song when my sister was born. But I've always been good at math and science, right? I'm a nerd. I'm probably, interested in anything tech, science related. That's always been there. But music, that's my heart for sure.
And so, when you decided to go to college, I mean, what you could have gone either way. You could have gone into the arts, or you could have gone into what you did, which was engineer. Was it engineering? You said?
Engineering, yes.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I wish somebody would have told me how hard engineering school was before I started. I definitely could have been a music major and had a lot more fun. But that wasn't the plan. So it all worked out as it was supposed to, for sure.
So then you've got this other twist now, because you've done the music, the steam,
Mhm.
but you're also a business owner and a philanthropist. You've created a nonprofit. Tell us about why you thought it was so critical to create the nonprofit Swaliga Foundation.
Yeah, so I'll get right to it. Right now, our city is under attack. And I know people have like mentioned it, we talk about it, but the reality is, if we don't do something right now, we're gonna be in a very horrible position in the next few years. Um, Crime, the murder rate is up 20%. A lot of our youth that we work with, that I know personally, have been victims of gun violence. It's carjackings all over the city. It's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but specifically in DC, we have to empower and pull up our young people. And we're doing that through STEAM education, right? Like, this is something that now that all of these doors have opened, you got so many different technologies like blockchain, like artificial intelligence, like virtual reality, like quantum computing, all of these different things that have just kind of come into modern society within the last few years are industries that are like pressing the reset button. Meaning, if we can get our youngins these skills, if they can be knowledgeable and speak that language, they can not only start businesses, they can start careers, they can feed their families in new and innovative ways. And they got the skills to do it. But if we don't give them the keys, right, how can they start up the whip? So that's something that we are very intentional about. And that's the vehicle that Swaliga is. We're bridging the gap to not only these skills, but these STEAM industries that we want our young people to take advantage of.
So what's the age group of the young people you work with?
We work with K through 12. So
Okay.
youngest learners, we got 5 years old, oldest 17, 18 in high school. And they're all learning the same curriculum. The STEAM the Block curriculum that I created is essentially teaching my first year at engineering school in Drexel. Imagine learning that at 5 years old.
Wow.
That's what we're doing. And they're learning how to use their creative thinking skills, how to solve problems. We're teaching them how to think, because the reality is we don't know, right? With even all of the industries I just named, if you just take AI, take the one, we don't fully understand how that's going to impact us in the next 5, even 10 years. So we're training our students on how to think so that no matter what subject, no matter what area of expertise they got to jump into, they're ready.
So I don't know whether to call you Mr. Image or to call you Lamont. I'm not sure which one we go with today. And what is, because it's all caps, what does Mr. Image stand for?
Yeah, so I was originally named Image because I'm made in God's own image. I was a gospel rapper since I was young. I mean, we're talking like 10 years old, right? And my name was Image. And then as I grew up a little bit, that evolved. I dropped the E because I am a G. I am a G. And also, you can't spell imagination without image. So that's Mr. Image. Make sure you add the Mr. And that's how we do that.
Love it. So, we talk on the show a lot about the programs that are available to young people all over, and then how do we get them into those programs? And one would think, if we're talking about science and technology, and I mean the arts, easier to get folks into. Science, a little bit harder. What is the I don't want to call it the bait, but what is the what do you use to get, because it looks like you have lots of young folks that are involved in your programs. You talked about how many thousands you served. How do you get them into the program?
Well, it's very simple, Miss Denise. What we do is speak their language. You can't talk to kids like they're babies, right? At the way the world is set up now, we need them to kind of get acclimated to what's going on. And that means we have to present this information as something that's meaningful to their everyday life, something that's real to them so that it could stick. And we do that through the arts. That's been the tool, right? All of these young people, even if they're not interested in math and science per se, when you show them how it connects to music or how it connects to digital photography or how it connects to graphic design or things that they actually love inherently, then it becomes more relevant. And everybody's scrambling. The country is like, oh, we got to get our kids in STEM, or we got to get our young Black and brown kids in STEM. And then they're still trying to figure that out. But we're like, why aren't we using the arts? Why aren't we making it fun? Because if it's not fun, they're not going to care. That's the reality of it. So we've been able to have engagement by just making it fun and relevant.
And when you say fun, I mean, what are some of the activities that you have engaged these young people with?
Oh, so many things. I mean, even in the clip. So just on June the 1st, I'll give you a day in the life. We were at, shout out to our partners at the Smithsonian. We were at the National African American Museum making beats with bird sounds. So we're learning about sound energy. We're learning about frequency and amplitude, but we're applying that to making beats, right? And then you could get into the nature aspect of it. Those are some of the things. And then later that day, we were in the DC Electric Vehicle Grand Prix. Shout out to the GEEE. Like, we were racing electric vehicles that they built. We built electric cars with our students.
Wow.
They loved it. They decorated it. We're involved in assembling the components, learning about electricity. So these are the type of things that are tangible to them, that it's fun, because we can't make them come to our program, right? They have to actually enjoy it to come. So we do our best to make sure that they love it.
Is there a cost for participation? How do young people get involved?
I am very proud to say that Swaliga does not charge any money. We don't charge our youth or families for our programs. And that's why we need support. We want to keep our programs free. And we've been able to do that for the past 10 years from the support of our amazing tribe around the world. But there is no cost for our program.
How do you get funded, Lamont? How do you, Mr. Image, how do you get funded?
By the grace of God. Thank you, God. In addition to that, though, we do get grants. We do get a lot of support from DC. We do get support from some of our amazing sponsors like Best Buy. Shout out to Google. Shout out to Under Armour. We have a lot of support for people who understand our mission and are in alignment, and they understand why we need to keep our programs free, because it's about access.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see that, you have a vision that others have caught, which is a wonderful thing. So tell us about the Steam the Block party. What is that? What's happening? What's coming up?
Yes, so I'm super excited. August the 10th, and there's so many things leading up to that. So y'all really need to tap in with us. I actually have a show coming up July the 20th at the Georgetown Library. And we're going to South Africa soon. Shout out to the whole team, the Geek team in South Africa. We're so excited to see you. And then when we get back, August the 10th, we're steaming the whole block. We taking the city over. Like I said, we are dealing with so much right now. We want to really set the tone for this upcoming school year. So we're linking with some amazing artists. We got the dopest artists in the city. We got some amazing partners. Like I said, some of the top engineering and tech companies in the region. And it's just going to be a fun day. Like, we got drones, we got music production, learn how to make beats. We got live competitions. There's a whole pitch competition. If you got a business idea, you can pitch your idea that day and get money, get laptops, get other resources. So it's going to be an amazing day filled with STEAM activities, games, prizes, lots of things that you may have seen, and I'm sure some things that you have never seen before. And we're super excited about it. That's August the 10th at the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Southeast DC. And yeah, come through, pull up. We'll be there from 12 to 5. Pull up.
Wonderful. So that's going to be inside the arena.
Inside the arena. So yeah, rain or shine, We taking over the arena. We will be lighting that joint up.
So how would one register? I assume you have to register in order to come. How would you do that?
We do. This event is absolutely free, just like our programming. You do have to register. You can go directly to our website, swaligafoundation.org. Click the flyer right there. It'll walk you through it. You'll also see all of the info for our competitions that are happening right now. Like I said, the pitch competition, there's a graphic design t-shirt competition. Winners get to go to Under Armour and actually make your t-shirt design. Like, come on, these opportunities are amazing. So make sure you're helping us spread the word and tap in. Again, swaligafoundation.org. All of the info is there.
So you're going to South Africa. Tell me the attraction to South Africa. Where are you going to go in South Africa? How many kids you planning to take with you? What they're going to do when they get there?
These are great questions. Thank you. So, yeah, the attraction to South Africa, I went for the first time in 2015, and it actually changed my life. I think the parallel, if you look at the history with South Africa going through apartheid and it ended in 94 with Mandela, and then the US, the whole situation that we were still going through with the Jim Crow South and all of these different things with Martin and that whole legacy, all of those are parallel in my mind. So with us needing our young people to have a global mindset, we want to connect them with their peers around the world. And that's what we do through the Global Education Exchange Coalition. So when we go on July 22nd, then we land on the 22nd or the 23rd, we are going to Johannesburg.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, City of Gold, biggest city. But we're going directly to Eldos. Shout out to the family at Eldos. They're in the Soweto area, Southwestern Township, and we're connecting with our schools. We have 3 schools that we partner with that we provide STEAM education and resources. We also partner with the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Africa, Val University. So they'll get a full experience. We're going to the pretty parts, the downtown Joburg, the universities, Vilakazi Street, all of these cool places. But we also in the trenches too. We're going directly to where the people are, and we're connecting so that our young people can see what it's really like and actually make real world connections, not just on social media, but connecting with real people. And this year we're taking 5 students.
Okay.
2 of them are from DC. We got a few from Houston, and there'll be some others that are joining us there in South Africa. And we're going to impact over 1,000 youth and families during our week-long exchange there. And we're super excited about it.
Oh, this sounds like a trip of a lifetime, and it's really, really great what you're doing, Mr. Image. I am excited, and I'm really thrilled that you reached out and that the Washington Informer is partnering with you. And I noticed, I think WUSA is also one of your partners. We know what our role is as media partners, but why was it important for you to reach out to us?
That's a great question. I think this mission and everything that I'm talking about, we've been doing it for so long. We're in our 12th year, but right now we really need this message to get out to the world. So we needed strong media partners, radio, print, TV. We needed strong media partners that amplify this message. And the Washington Informer is legendary. I mean, if you're from the DC, from the DMV area, you know about the Informer. So it's actually an honor to have y'all partnering with us in this important work. And I know that this event is going to be an amazing success as a result.
Well, one of the things as your media partner, we want to make sure of, and not only that will we be there at the entertainment and sports arena, but we want to, see some photos and some feedback from you all in South Africa as well. This is the world is getting smaller. And there are greater opportunities, and the fact that you're mixing all these things up, and showing how achievable they are with the young people that you work with. I am just truly, excited about what you pulled together.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's you said an important thing, showing young people what's achievable. Like that's really the whole goal. I need our youngins to see that I am you. Right? Like I look like you, I sound like you, we are the same. So when you see me doing these things, that should be motivation. It's like, yeah, you can connect halfway around the world. You can have an idea and bring that vision to life. And that's what we're doing. We're showing these young people on August the 10th at this Steam the Block party, all of these opportunities that they have access to. right? So make sure y'all tap in with us. We're going to share. We're going to be this whole trip. You're going to be able to tune in with us. Make sure you follow me at Mr. Image Music. Make sure you follow the tribe at Tribe Swaliga. Make sure you go to the website, tap in. You're going to be able to see the journey. So by the time you travel with us to Joburg and we touch back down in the city, we'll be ready to light it up on the South Side, August the 10th. Come steam the block with us.
So I got to ask, how can we hear your music?
Ooh,
Where's
yeah. So MrImageMusic.com. Just put in Mr. Image Music, it'll pop up.
Okay.
OlayENT.com. Shout out to Olay Entertainment. You can get all of my music there. I also just dropped a freestyle this morning, so make sure you tap in, put in Mr. Image Music. I'm in my new album, Steam the Block Book of Nature, where I'm diving into natural science through hip hop.
Wow.
The first of its kind. That's dropping August the 10th, day of the block party. So we got a lot to celebrate. And I'm the best MC. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I literally invented a whole subgenre because of the triple entendres, quadruple entendres. But the music is something that is very unique and that I put a lot of love and effort into. So make sure you check that out. Again, connect with us. Let's tap in.
All right. And the last question I'm going to ask you before I go, for those out there that hear this show and say, I like what he's doing, I want to support, how can people donate?
Yes. Shout out to the real ones. I'm talking to the great ones. If you really want to support, get in with this mission, you feel inspired to donate, go to our website, swaligafoundation.org. You can donate right there. It's very simple. You can also get more information about what we're doing and how you can be involved. And again, share, like, let people know what we're doing. That's a big part of it too. We need these donations, like I said, because our programs are free. We are a nonprofit and we're doing this off the strength. So for all of the real ones that want to support that, we would love to have your support and get you more involved with this mission that we're doing.
Lamond, Mr. Image Brown, CEO, Executive Director of the Swaliga Foundation. Thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. Thank you for the young people that you're working with. Thank you for, I could go on and on. I just am really excited to have gotten the chance to meet you and look forward to seeing you on August the 10th.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Ms. Denise. And I'm going to see you on August the 10th. We're going to have some fun.
I might surprise you, though, before then, but I can't say it now. So,
okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it either way.
All right. Take care.
All right. Have a good one. Peace.
You too. Yeah, that isn't exciting. Like I said, we have so much within our communities. We just got to reach out, join, participate, be a part, support. And this is just another example of what that's all about. I'm excited to bring on Jada Ingleton, who is the Washington Informer's Comcast Fellow. And she's been doing a whole lot, student from Howard University, who assists us with copy editing. And, at the Informer, Jada, right? You might be asked to do anything, anytime. And so you are a true team player, and I appreciate it. And we're going to learn about more about your background and interests in the coming weeks. But right now, you're going to be speaking with Grammy Award-winning musician Keith Harris. So welcome to Let's Talk, and take it away.
Thank you, Ms. Denise, and thank you, Mr. Harris, for joining us today. There we go.
Just wanted to say there's a video that we're going to take a look at, and then Keith Harris will join you.
Okay, awesome. So take a look.
All I want is you. All I want is you. All I want is, all I want is, all I want is, all I want is, all I want is you. All I want is you. All I want is, all I want is, all I want is, all I want is, all I want is you.
Hello, how are you, Keith?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing great. That was a wonderful video. It's obviously a project that you've already put out there, so congratulations.
Thank you very
Um,
much. The Keith Harris Experience Volume 1, my baby.
well, let's just get started. We will also be talking about the Keith Harris experience today. But first, I would love to know, how did you first discover your passion for music?
Well, I always say that music kind of discovered me. I grew up playing in church. I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago. Started playing music at the age of 10 when my mother took me to church for the first time. And that's where it all started, just being able to watch wonderful musicians and being inspired. And also, my church family really supported me in my goal to want to be a professional musician. So, ended up going to a performing arts high school in Chicago, which led me to go to Berklee College of Music in Boston, where I majored in music production and engineering. And after that, I moved to New York, met a good friend who was a producer at Bad Boy at the time. His name was Richard Younglord Frierson. So he gave me my shot as a young college student to be able to produce and engineer for him. And next thing you know, I got a call from Black Eyed Peas through a friend of mine, like, "Hey, we need a drummer." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And I've been with the Peas 21 years now. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. But that's all because of inspiration of just being around great, inspiring people in my church in Chicago.
Well, actually, speaking of, you mentioned, inspiration. Obviously, networking is a huge thing in the music industry. So you have a lot of talents, a lot of tools under your belt. You've produced music, written musicals, or directed musicals, excuse me, songwriting, and now you're a drummer for the Black Eyed Peas. So how has your experience working with iconic artists like the Black Eyed Peas, Madonna, Fifth Harmony influenced your own music and performances?
Well, a lot of what I do is being like the surrogate father of shows and responsibility. I think it really just starts from making the artist feel comfortable. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a real chill guy, and there's nothing too dramatic that's going to make me kilter. But just knowing that you have that quality that gives people peace and calm, even in the storm when things go wrong, audio difficulties, all types of things. People get sick. Just taking all those strengths and then applying them to myself when I work on my own project with my own band, the Keith Harris Experience. And, all of that culminated to, the Harris Experience Volume 1 that I released in 2020, and which is still doing pretty good to this day. So yeah, all of those opportunities presenting itself in my music.
Okay, so what was a signifying moment in your life where you could say you were at the right place at the right time in your career or just in general?
I would say, just living in New York. After I graduated from Berkeley, I moved to New York. So I used to drive back and forth from Boston to New York. And networking is everything. And really, it came down to one friend that recommended me to, the musical director of the Black Eyed Peas. And from that, I was able to tour and still touring. I'm in Serbia right now. So I'm on tour as we speak right now. I've won Grammy Awards. I've written a lot of great songs. I've worked with some amazing artists, like you mentioned, Michael Jackson, Estelle, Jordan Sparks, Miguel, Busta Rhymes, Madonna, Backstreet Boys, Fifth Harmony. So a plethora of people that I've had a chance to work with. But all of that is fine and dandy, but it all comes back to the single most important point is that if it wasn't for the love and the passion for music, none of these other things would be possible because those are like the rewards for being passionate about something that you love. So I didn't do music to be able to do all of those things. I just wanted to play drums. And my goal, I just wanted to play on tour. That was like the only thing I had in my mind as a kid. I just wanted to play drums on the biggest stages. And, I've had to do that. I've had the opportunity to do that for years and years now.
So it's like a full circle moment for childhood Keith coming back around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From the Super Bowl to World Cups, all those types of wonderful events that I would watch on TV, all the TV shows, Tonight Show, all these things was what I watched as a kid, and to be able to do those things is definitely a full circle moment for sure.
So let me ask you this. When you are working on a project, whether it's a song for the Keith Harris Experience or a collaboration, what is the point that you know when you can say, like, yes, this is what I wanted, this is what needs to be heard?
Well, it's how can I explain? It's like a fine line of not saying too much, but saying enough. And I think that's what I have a unique talent is to not overload the regular person with a lot of musical information because I have a lot of musical information, but still making it inspiring for people that do have the knowledge of, the more technical or the more musical aspects of music. So I think some things you got to find the balance of it, and I think that's a great trait that I learned from will.i.am as well, working with the Black Eyed Peas. He's the master of finding that sweet spot between musicality and everybody just being able to enjoy it, no matter if you're 2 years old or 60 years old.
So I would like to pivot and start talking more about the Keith Harris Experience, your music and your band. So you guys have a show coming up in DC at the Anthem on August 7th.
Yes.
You'll be performing and opening for the Black Eyed Peas, or as you know them, the Peas. So how does it feel to showcase your music to a live audience?
So it's going to be great. This will be one of my 3 shows that I'm doing with the Peas. So they're giving me the opportunity to open their 3 dates, one of them being DC. I've done numerous shows in Los Angeles. So, these shows opening for the Peas will be my first time performing on the East Coast and for an East Coast audience. So I'm super excited to be able to, debut, the Keith Harris Experience project to my people on the East Side. It's going to be great.
I hope you like the weather too. It's a bit of a heat wave.
I currently live in Las Vegas, so it's really hot here in Serbia too. So I'm used to it.
Also, so for my next question, what do you want people to take away from your music when they listen to your songs?
Well, I want them to take away that all of these songs are the culmination of my years and experiences growing up in New York, LA, and Chicago. I have a bit of Chicago house because that's what I grew up listening to as a kid. Also, Chicago footwork, if people are familiar with that, is really high energy. So when you come to a Keith Harris Experience show, there's no like chill, like, oh, I'm going to sit back with some wine and watch this band. Nah. We get you up, we get you high. We want everybody to have a good time and dance. And that's pretty much what it is. We just want to have a good time, and I'm gonna, prime everybody up for the Black Eyed Peas show because that's high energy for a good 2 hours. So I think everybody's gonna have a good time, and especially enjoy the Keith Harris Experience first performance on the East Coast.
Awesome. And also, can you plug in where can people get these tickets to this show or any show that's happening in the 3 shows you'll be performing at?
Well, the Anthem, I'm assuming you can go to their website for the actual venue. For anything Keith Harris Experience, you can go to keithharris.life. That's my personal website. You can also go to Keith Harris Experience on all of the socials. So IG, X, formerly known as Twitter, all of them, TikTok, blah, 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 all of the socials. And of course, on Spotify and Apple Music, you can download the Keith Harris Experience Volume 1. You're streaming now. So if you need some good workout music, you need some high energy, get your cardio up. And then if you want to feel inspired, I have a great song with Jordan Sparks called Solid Gold. I think you guys will enjoy it and love it. But it's a little bit of everything for everybody.
Well, I look forward to checking it out because I could use some workout music.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So almost wrapping it up, how do you stay inspired and motivated to continue creating music and performing after so many years in the industry?
Well, I think it's just the younger generation, how they take things and, flip it to, inspire their generation. I just love how kids are using technology to really do different different inspirations for songs. Me coming up, the new thing was working in a digital audio workstation. So that's like working with computers. Before that, it was 2-inch tape, and now you have AI. So kids are getting experience to working with faster technology to make music faster and getting your ideas out more creative and fast paced. So those things are very inspiring. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you relevant, because you don't want to be the old man trying to get young kids to dance. That's not cool. So you definitely take the cues for what's going on, what's popular, but also keeping the integrity of what who I am as an artist and musician.
Well, even though you just gave some great advice, I would like to ask you for any more advice for aspiring musicians or producers that are looking to break into the industry.
Well, I say the 3 Ps, which is prayer, whoever your entity is, practice. You got to be prepared for when the opportunity comes, and then patience. Wait for the opportunity to come. Don't compare your road or your path to anybody else's, because what's due you is due you in the proper time. So you don't want to get the opportunity before you're ready for it. So just make sure you always stay prepared.
Awesome. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Keith. And for those
Pleasure.
tuning in, please don't forget to catch Keith Harris Experience and the Peas when they come to the Anthem on August 7th. Thank you so much for
Excited.
your time. Back to you, Miss Denise. Oh, you're muted, Miss Denise.
Conversation all to myself. But I'm going to say wonderful, wonderful interview. And like you, looking for some workout music as well. But Keith has quite, I guess, a lot of music activity under his belt, and pulled it all out. And everybody likes the Black Eyed Peas anyway. So what a pleasure it was to do that interview with him. And thank you so much. Now we're going to be having you and our other fellows on not too long ago. So looking forward to hearing more from you in the coming weeks, and hearing who else you're going to be interviewing as time goes on.
Absolutely. Everything is so good for Let's Talk.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. And thanks again.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye. So now it's my pleasure to bring on Raven Paris and Tony Parker, founders of the Wealth Summit Live. Welcome to Let's Talk.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Hello.
you. It's a pleasure.
And some beautiful smiling faces. I love it. I love it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Tell us both about your financial literacy backgrounds and what inspired you to create this Wealth Summit Live.
Well, that's a very interesting question, because my wife, as my wife likes to say all the time, we don't technically have backgrounds in financial literacy, but we understand the importance of it. Myself, I'm a real estate agent, so I do have knowledge of real estate investing and things mainly focused around real estate, buying a house, making that your biggest asset, and then using it to, fund other assets and projects. But as far as financial literacy, we are not the experts. And that is not why we're here. We are here solely to connect people to the experts. We don't need to be the ones telling you everything you need to do. But if I know someone has something good to say, and it's going to elevate you, elevate your mindset, elevate your family, then I'm going to try to make sure that as many people hear this as possible. And that's essentially my background in financial literacy.
We're just the bridges connecting our community to the financial education resources. And that's how the Wealth Summit Live was built upon.
So Tony and Raven, I mean, you all appear to be fairly young. And, this is a conversation that's been going on in our communities for a long time.
Right.
Of trying to bridge that financial wealth gap. Yep. And here you are, a new generation of folks who understand the importance But what is it that, you observed or experienced that made you think this is important for us to do?
Yeah, I would definitely like to kick in and say a lot of the things that we've been able to do for our own family, because we are married, we do have kids. So setting up life insurance, learning about what goes into that and how you can actually get paid from your life insurance while you're actually still alive, not just when you're long gone. That was something that really blew my mind. Or even tapping into some of these stocks, or us investing into residential real estate, into commercial real estate, and knowing how you can actually make money from equity of your properties, et cetera. So us actually learning these things for our own family, we're like, wait, it's so many people who do not know these things. Or even when it comes down to building credit, I was probably 27, 28. I'm now in my 30s, whereas though I got my first credit card late in the game because I was not taught the proper way to get your credit started, to make sure your utilization rate is lower so it doesn't impact your score. So these are all the things that I had to learn on my own. And I feel like those are things that need to be taught to our community at a young age, definitely within the household. But if the household isn't able to give you those resources, we're here to be able to do that. And we want the Wealth Summit Live to be that staple, to become that event for Maryland that will happen annually, so we can continue to pour that knowledge into our community. And we just want to do our part by just knowing what's needed within our household and what's needed for other community households as well.
Tony, what about you?
If I may piggyback, my understanding, when I started to realize the importance of it, I follow Earn Your Leisure very closely. They are our main event headliners for the Wealth Summit Live, along with Imani Ellis. And what I noticed is that they had a huge following. They are rock stars, but they don't play rock music. They don't sing songs. They don't make beats. They talk about financial education, and they get everybody involved in this conversation. Whether you agree with them or whether you disagree with them, you are talking about it. And that's what I really started to see. And that's what I noticed, that even though my background in entertainment may be clubs and lounges and rappers, I noticed that the wave was turning and people wanted to be entertained in a different way, and that this was a time that people were being receptive to being taught and being elevated and being, given resources on how to impact that family for generations to come, which is a reason why, we make sure the Wealth Summit Live is free to kids. We make sure all youth have free access to this event. So they come into the Wealth Summit, they soak up all of this knowledge, they get a taste, whether they understand it, whether they don't, whether they care, whether they just there for the free food, it doesn't matter. The fact is they're going to hear it, and then we planted that seed. The next time they hear it, it's not going to be a foreign phrase or word to them. So that was kind of just made me realize that it's time for an event like this, and the city is right proud for it.
What about collaborations? The thing that I often wonder, is even among my friends. I mean, a lot of times, you get together, you talk about everything else about the other than the critical things that impact your life. But as you get older, your health becomes the big topic, and we get personal with our health stories. But financial literacy, financial empowerment, financial education, it's not the table talk conversation often in our families. What are you all, what are you trying to encourage people to do besides just connecting? I mean, among your peers, how do you increase the interest in this dialogue?
Well, I definitely feel like one of the things that you mentioned is one of the biggest pieces, that building the community piece. That's one of the major parts where you can build up your net worth. It's based on your network. So the 3 pillars that we have for the Wealth Summit Live is based off of community. We have a lot of different activities and VIP events that will allow you to build community amongst your peers of our elite professionals, our financial enthusiasts, our experts that will be there, but also entertainment. As Tony said, like, we enjoy being entertained. So what does that look like, right? So we have our vendor marketplace, we have our live activations, we have our live band that will be there, some of the events to really incorporate the fun part of this summit as well. But then we also have the education, which is the most important piece. So I definitely feel like by incorporating all of those elements, it's creating a full experience, whereas though you're able to come there, enjoy yourself, but actually leave with tangible items that you'll be able to now be able to start building and applying to your visions, to your business, to teach to your other kids or your other siblings or your other friends, just to make sure we are in the conversation and we are taking the steps to now build that wealth gap that we know is such a huge difference. And
yeah.
then it's big. And I feel like since we are so many years behind, it is up to us to now be able to pass on that information, to get it out there. And what we also are doing too is collaborating with a lot of our peers who manage to be very successful in their businesses, who are very knowledgeable in financial education, and who are also in the DMV, specifically Baltimore. We have partnered with over 50 Black-owned businesses. So the Wealth Summit Live is definitely based on that Black excellence and just taking all this information, knowledge that we have and bringing it to this melting pot so we could all make an impact together. There's a lot of people that came to our first event last year. They just came as, whether we honored them or whether they came as guests, they're now partners because they enjoyed the experience. They've seen the impact that it made and they want to continue to build and grow with us. So those are our pillars, and collaborating is major key in order to really make this experience pop and really get out there to the masses.
You got a great salesperson here, Tony. In addition to you, tell me where it's going to be. Where it's going to take place again, the time, all that.
Yes, definitely. So the Wealth Summit Live this year is a 3-day weekend event. It's taking place at the Baltimore Peninsula, and we'll start off with the VIP nights on Friday, and then we'll go into the main event on Saturday. It's a full-day event full of workshop activations, panel discussions, like Raven said, food trucks, vendor marketplace,
Area Leisure,
Imani Ellis, and then we actually have a very special partner. Wells Fargo actually is our partner on this, so they made sure that they are impacting the community. They made sure that we are able to make this a biggest and best possible event possible.
And then Sunday we have a VIP brunch to kick off the Wealth Summit Live, to end the Wealth Summit Live weekend.
Wonderful. I'm not trying to give people an excuse for not coming, but you said you did one last year. Is this going to be an annual event?
Oh, yeah.
And are there anything that you do sort of in between, the annual event to keep people connected?
That's the goal. Honestly, I feel like that's definitely one of our long-term goals, to be able, short and long, to basically be able to get this experience of Wealth Summit Live into school systems, to be able to travel to different states on a smaller scale, to still be able to have our panelists that are able to give the youth, you get what I'm saying, this education, because this is our annual initiative from our nonprofit CEO Empowerment Network. So by this being our annual fundraising event, that's why we made it an initiative to make sure we had these youth tickets sponsored. Last year we had 100. This year our goal is 500. So we could really just get them in the building, in that space, so they could soak it up. But now we can start going to different organizations. And shout out to Black Baseball Media, another dope nonprofit in Chicago. They want us to actually bring the Wealth Summit to Chicago next year. So it is slowly happening. It's a short and long-term goal, but that is definitely the goal. And I think I answered your question.
Yes, you did. So I know we're running out of time, but Tony, I was just in Baltimore not too long ago. And I think you all, I love the fact that Baltimore is evolving into this great, arts place, with a lot of focus on arts, and a lot of young folks who are in the arts are coming to Baltimore. You're sitting on a gold mine of real estate. And I would love to know more about, how properties are moving in Baltimore. Once upon a time, people said you get some property in Baltimore for pennies,
right.
But the city's growing, it's growing. And I'm happy you got a young Black mayor there.
Yes.
It's popping, as somebody said earlier. It is. So I want to talk a little bit more about that with you in the future. But how's it going for you, the real estate business?
The real estate business in Baltimore, I can't say it's not booming. Of course, it comes with its challenges. But me being versed in many different types of real estate, such as commercial real estate, residential, having a real estate consultant background, I'm able to definitely stay busy, and I'm able to stay connected with a lot of the heavy hitters in the Baltimore real estate market, just making sure that I find the best deals for my clients. But as far as the real estate market in Baltimore, it's definitely not going down. It's going up and up and up. And I tell anybody that's investing, I use DC as an example. Anybody that's invested in DC, Baltimore is what DC was 10 years ago,
Right.
or maybe even only 7 years ago at this point. So you might want to get in now before it's too late and everywhere is out of reach.
Yeah, they're
All
gentrifying
right.
a lot of areas. So I definitely feel like you need to kind of get in while it's hot. I think that's what they say.
All right. All right. Well, maybe there'll be some conversation about that at the Wealth Summit. I am so
Oh,
excited that you all were here to join us. Be there July 19th through the 21st.
Yes.
And we put the website up. And is there, I guess people can go there and register, correct?
Yes, they
Yeah,
can.
you can go there to our website to go register. We actually just sold out today of our Black Card experience. So the only tickets that are available now are our general admission and our 2-day VIP ticket. So definitely make sure you get your tickets. The last day to actually purchase the VIP ticket will be that Friday. So definitely make sure you get it before they sell out.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you all very much for being with us. Good luck to you, and keep helping to bridge that gap. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, I was like, gee, they went away pretty fast. But anyway, thanks a lot.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Good luck. All right, you too. So we want to thank you all for watching this edition of Let's Talk, and thank our sponsors, the Swaliga Foundation with guest Lamont Brown, and then of also our other guests, Keith Harris and Raven Paris and Tony Parker, and of course our intern and fellow Jada Ingleton for that great interview that she did. Again, keep watching us here on Fridays, every Friday from noon to 1. If you have any story ideas, people that you think we need to talk to, feel free to reach out to us at news@washingtoninformer.com. Stay dry, stay dehydrated, but that sounds, does that make sense? Stay cool, stay dehydrated. I can say dry and dehydrated. Come on, Denise. Am I having one of those moments? I think I am. So stay hydrated, stay cool, and stay watching Let's Talk. This is Denise Rollard Barnes signing off.